there, thanks for stopping by to color. Today we're going to be working on this adorable penny black stamp. We're going to be doing a peekaboo card. I posted over on my Facebook page some options and everybody asking if anybody wanted to do a peekaboo card, and I had some people that said, yay, let's do it. So I went ahead and made up this cute little peekaboo card. And so what you do is you open it, and inside you get another image. Isn't that cute? So I've seen this over on Jennifer McGuire's blog, and I'll go ahead and put a link down in the description box to her little cards that she made with the peekaboo image. They were really cute. But I thought we would go ahead and make up this card today, and this is a card kit, so if you want to grab one up, I'll put a link to it down in the description box, along with all the supplies I used. I would love for you to come shopping with me. So I went ahead and in your kit, you're going to get a couple of circles. So you're going to get your circles, and what I did is I stuck them in my stamping tool, my Misty or my Tim Holtz platform, and I put just a little bit of adhesive on the back and I stuck it in there, and then I picked the image I wanted to use. And because these images are pretty big, they're not going to fit all the way on your card, but that's okay. They'll fit through you'll be able to see part of them through the window. And I just stamped them on here, and this is Neenah 80-pound solar white cardstock. So let's go ahead and color these up. They won't take very long, and then we will put our card together. Alright, so for our little dog here first, I'm going to go ahead and give him a background. So I'm going to do that with BG quadruple 0. And we are not going to do anything fancy. And there's a little bit up here that you can kind of see through some of these branches. So I'm just going to willy-nilly stick some of this color up in there just to take some of that up. And it won't matter if you get some on the branches because we're going to color those green. But then I just took my marker and I'm just going to fill in the rest of this background part. So nothing fancy. Let's go up in here. Let's see. Oops, that was his body. Don't color that. Right in here, that's got his body on there. But that's okay. All this that I colored blue, we're going to cover up with our green marker, so don't worry about that. So I'm just going to go right out here towards the edge. And we're going to work our way around to the other side. Okay, I'm going to flip him over because it's easier for me to go this way. And this way, hopefully, I will keep my hand out of the middle of the screen so you can see some stuff. We're just going to fill this in like so. Go down here between his ears. And I'll go over here. Go a little bit between those branches. And then mine's a little streaky. I don't mind that, but if you do mind that, you could go over it a second time, or you could get your colorless blender out and just go right over the top of those lines, and then it wouldn't show up. But I don't mind that it looks got a few lines in there. I'm not going to care about that. I probably should do right in here a little bit. All right, easy peasy, right? Okay, so we're going to color our dog next. So for that, we're going to use E99, 34, 55, 53, and 51. So we'll start with our E99. And I'm going to try to keep that where I want it to be darkest. So let's go like underneath of his foot right here. And then I'm going to go around here from his tail, down and around. Don't worry about any of those leaves again because we're going to color those all in green, so we'll cover them up. And then you can't really see his leg down in here, but I'm going to bring this leg like he's running kind of in a little swoop right here. Like that. And then for this paw, let's go ahead and go with a little bit in the back. And same for this one. And then up here, we'll go along his head. Down here to this bush. I'm thinking that I'm going to bring this underneath this tree right here. And he's going to have a little bit of his belly showing. Even though you can't tell down in here, I'm assuming he'll have some of that. So I'm just going to draw this little spot right here and make that his belly. Here, and then the branch is going to come across, so let's say it goes like right like that. Got to get us started. Okay, Okay, then we're going to do E34 next. So I'm going to go ahead and brush right over the top of that color that I just laid down. So I'm just going to touch down on top of that, and then we're going to flick out here. And I'm going to try to go around this little snowflake. Don't color that. Now I'm going to bring it up here to the top of his foot. And then for his toe, let's go along like this. And then let's do a little bit above the tree branch for his belly. And we'll get some of his leg. This leg. And then let's go ahead and do a little bit on his face. And I'm going to add E55 next. So again, touch down on your last color. I'm just going to bring it up. I'm going to go ahead and bring this above his foot. I'm just softening that edge. These are really quick and easy to color, so you do not need to stress about coloring these up. Okay. And then we'll add 53 next. So I'm going to go ahead and cover this little foot in. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit right here. And then I'm going to bring this color down and along his snout. And then we'll take our E51 and we'll finish coloring it in. So I'm going to go ahead and go right over that. And then we'll finish coloring this in. And even though I already colored down here, I'm going to go ahead and swipe my pen over all these colors just to blend them a little bit better. And then I just left him like that. Okay, so let's do our tree and then the snow. So we're going to use E49, 57, and then G99 for the tree, and then use B20 to add a little bit of color to our snowballs. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the snow since there's not much there. So for each one of these little snows, I went ahead and gave them a little C on half. So I did colored about half of them in. Nothing too complicated. And then for my tree, I went with E49, and I'm going to go right along the bottom of the tree branch. And then I use my E57 to do the top of the tree branch. And then I did my G99 for each of these little tree, or the little pine needles. Forgot what they were called there for a minute. Okay, so I'm going to go down the stem, and then I went and just flicked some color over each of these little needles. And I didn't care that they were on the actual needles themselves. I'm just making my own lines. Just filling them in. Sweep some color on here. And that is all I did to it. I really like the little sketchy look for his ears, so I didn't color those in, but you could if you wanted to. But I decided I was just going to leave them that white color. So let's go ahead and grab our next little dog. So for him, let's go ahead and do his outline first. So I'm going to use my C00 or my C0 for that. And I'm just going to go all the way around the outside of my image. So let's start at the bottom of my boot. And I'm going to just make an outline or a shadow around the entire outside. This can be as skinny or as fat as you want, or if you want, you could just totally leave it off. I just like to add it personally because I think it makes it look a little bit less flat, kind of gives it makes it pop up a little bit. And I always like to do it first, so in case I color on the image, I can erase it, or I can, you know, use my colorless blender to take that off. Plus I tend to, if I've colored with a different color, I tend to pick up some of the other colors and drag them out into the background. So this makes it easier for me just to do it first. All right, and then like our other dog, we're going to go ahead and use E99, 34, 55, 53, and 51. We're not going to be doing anything fancy. We just want to keep these pretty simple so that we can just whip them up. Add some color here along this bottom of his arm. Like this. And then he's also got his little hand right here. It's holding the tag. His little paw. So you want to make sure to color that. Okay, then I'm going to add 34 on top of that. I'm just going right along that edge of that last color. We just want to soften that up. And then we'll add 55 on top of that one. You just want to make sure to touch down on top of the last color and then go out into your white space. Next I'll add 53. Oops, I forgot to do his paw. Let's see, let's grab 34 and do this one. And then 55. I think I forgot it the first time I colored it too. Okay, then we'll take our 51 and we're going to fill in up here. And then like before, I'm just going to go ahead and swipe over all of his body. And I think I'll go back over it with a little bit more. So let's go 55. I'm not liking how it blended, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to brush this from the darkest color up to where I laid this one down the last time. And then I'm going to add 53 over the top of that. And then we'll give it another coat of 51. And then for his ears and that little patch, I'm going to leave it just the little sketchy lines because I really like that. But you could totally color that in with black or some gray if you wanted. But I just like how it looks with the little lines on there. Let's do the boot next. For that, we're going to use Y38, 35, 17, and 8. So we're going to start with Y38. And we're going to go, I want to have just my boots to be shiny in the middle, so I'm going to go up here first and fill in the inside. And then we're going to go right down the edges. On the edge of this one. And you could take a little bit of temporary adhesive and tape your little image down too. That would help. And then in here, we're going to do this buckle on the inside there. And we'll come back the other side. And then we'll add Y35 to the top of that. So again, we're just going to start here on our last color, and we're going to flick past that. Then we'll add Y17 next. So I tend to pull clear from the side over the last two colors and bring this color into the center. Aim for this side. Pull over the top of both of the previous colors and go right out to your white. Then I'll take my Y08 and I'm going to fill in this little line here across the top of my boot, but then I'm just going to go all the way across. Swipe over this way and then go across the front. Alright, for the sole of our boot, we're going to use W9, 7, and 6. So I'm going to start with W9, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this little buckle first. And it's pretty small, so make sure to use just the tip and barely touch your paper. And then there's a little strap or a little flap on the end of the buckle. I'm going to color that. And then I'm going to go right along the edges so that it would be darkened up. There's a little line there you can see on top of the stamping. So we're going to color that in. And then down here we're going to go a little bit on each corner of these little soles of his boot. And then we'll add W7 next. So touch down on top of W9. Swipe out here a little bit for your W7. And then you're going to fill that in with W6. So I touch down on my W7 and I pull into my white. And then I'm going to go over this entire spot. That'll blend them all together. Let's do that cute little candy cane next. So for our candy cane, we're going to use our 39, 27, and then B20. So I'm going to go ahead and go with my R27 because this candy cane is not going to need that much stuff, so I'm just going to pick a stripe. So let's say we're going to do this one first. And then you skip one. You just work your way to the end. And then I came back and added my shadow with my R39. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit on this one and then maybe a little bit on the bottom of each one of these little curls. And then I took my B20 and just did my shadow area on the on the stripes that were white. And so as long as we have our reds out, let's go ahead and do this little tag. So I'm going to take my R27 and fill it in. And you could make this tag a different color if you wanted. And then I'm also going to do this bow. And then I'm going to take R39 and I'm going to give my tag a little bit of a shadow. So I'm just going to flick underneath these little X's and kind of over here on the other side of his finger. And for the bow, we'll do a little bit on the knot and the inside of these little bows. And then I'm going to do a little dab right in the center where each one has these little lines. And then I'm just going to leave that. Oh, and let's do that next. I'm going to leave that one. Okay, so now we're going to do the packages. So for our packages, we are going to use G99, YG03, and R39. So I'm going to start with YG03, and I did not do anything fancy. I'm just going to swipe over the entire package. That's why I didn't do that dot right there, because I knew I was going to have to color over the top of it, and I didn't want to have to miss them. Otherwise, we'd be pulling red everywhere. And then to add a little bit of shadow, I'm going to go back and do a little bit in a second coat where I want it to be darker. And then I just left that. And then for the little trees, I use my G99, color these little trees in. And now we use our R39 to do these little dots. Easy peasy. So there you have it. You have both of your images all colored up. So let's go ahead and get our stuff out and we will put our card together. All right, so we have all of our stuff here. So let's go ahead and move some of this stuff over here on the side. Okay, so first off, let's go ahead and attach this piece to our front. And when you get your card kit, I kept everything in a pile. So you're gonna have the front piece, and then you're gonna have the middle piece, and then you're gonna have the back. So let's go ahead and attach this front piece first. I'll go for this a little bit more. That might help out. Okay, so we're gonna put some tape runner on the back of this, and some of your pieces are gonna, I cut them out with a circle die, so you're gonna wanna kind of run your finger around them because they're gonna have a little bit of extra, like little spots on there. Some, they may not. Okay, so we'll put some tape runner on here. Okay, and then we're going to put this on this. Whoops. Okay, so this front piece here is 4 1/4 inches wide this way by 8 1/4 inches long, and then it's scored at 2 3/4 inches. Then your middle section, the inside, is 4 1/4 inches wide by 8 1/2 inches long, and then it's scored in the middle at 4 1/4. And then the back piece is 4 1/4 inches wide by 5 3/4 inches long, and it's scored at 5 1/2, and you're just going to fold all those over. So then let's go ahead and attach our middle piece first. I think that will be easiest. So what you're going to need for that is you're going to need to have some kind of sticky tape. So red tape, Be Creative tape, something that's super sticky to hold this together. So I'm going to go ahead and tear this off because it's going to be hard to try to keep my head out of the top of the screen here. Okay, so let me hold this up a little bit. We're just going to put the score tape or whatever kind of tape you're using onto this little flap. And press it down really good. Okay, let me get my scissors. I'm just going to trim this off. On the ends. That on here. Okay, so you got your tape on here. You're going to go ahead and make sure it's down, and then I'm just going to peel this little sticker thing off, peel that off, and then this piece is going to go on to this piece. So you're going to flip it open, and then you're going to line this up. So however you want to do it. I'm trying to do it so my head, you don't see the top of my hair sticking out, like that. Okay, and then this piece, don't worry about this thing, just go ahead and flip this open. This is going to attach to that piece. So I'm going to go ahead and put some tape runner on the back of this. And I'm going to go ahead and put some right around this window too, so that it's got some around that. And then this is going to line up. And I honestly did my best to make sure that the circles are exactly where they go. So if you bump these up against the left-hand side here and the top, you should have it, the window should be perfect. Hopefully. If not, you might have to take, for the inside of the circle here, mine lined up perfectly, but I'm thinking that, you know, if I got it off a little bit, you could take your X-Acto knife and trim this. But I did do my best to make sure that they were perfectly matched up. Whoops. Well, I shouldn't have put so much tape on there. Okay, so anyway. So when you put the tape on there, put it on the back of this piece right here, because now I have tape on the back of right here, and I don't need any tape right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my embossing buddy and put some of that on there real quick. Alright, so I went ahead and cut my embossing buddy. So do as I do, as I say, not as I do. I'm just going to put some of this on here to deactivate this tape. So you're going to want to put it on the middle piece, the adhesive on the middle piece, and then stick it on there. But this will fix that. Okay, I've got it all open. Whoops, goes this way. Okay, so then you're going to want to decide which one you want to show through the window first. So I thought this one would be really cute if the little dog was holding his tree and running in to, you know, say Merry Christmas. And then when you opened it, the little dog was opening his present. So we're going to do the dog with the tree first. So we're going to go ahead and put this in here. So you could put some adhesive on here and you could willy-nilly it in between all of this stuff, but I decided that was too hard. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm just going to go ahead and mark right onto the back right here, like that, with a couple of little cute pencil marks. Then I'm going to flip it open. And then I'm going to put some adhesive on the back. Because I tried sticking it down in between all these layers and getting it in there between the back, and it just did not work. It got stuck every single time. So you're going to want him to be straight up. So I'm going to go ahead and hold him up here, and there's got my little tick mark there. So I'm just going to stick him on like this, and I'm not going to push him down real hard. I'm going to now flip it open so I can make sure that he's how I want him, and that looks perfect. So I'm going to give him a little squish so he'll go back down in there. And then when you go ahead to open him, what's going to happen is it's going to get stuck right here on this edge, this little flap is. So I'm just going to take a little piece of Scotch tape, and it's just regular tape, and I'm going to put it about 1/4 of an inch in on my little image to hold it down. And then what happens is the little flap will slide right over that tape and then be good to go. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to open it like this. And the same thing, I'm going to go ahead and use my pencil. And I'm just going to give myself kind of some little guides right in here where I can see where I want to put my image. Otherwise, if you put the glue on here and you try to stick it down in there, it just does not go in there. I don't know how Jennifer did it when she was able to slide it in there, but that's just not going to happen. I tried it a million times and it just did not work out. So we're going to go ahead and cheat and put the glue on there, or put a little mark, and then we're going to put our guy on there. So you're going to make sure that he's right side up, and you're also going to make sure that he's onto this piece over here. So he can go right up next to the edge, and then you can just tap him down a little bit, and then you can open him up to see where he is and decide if that's where you want him. And he looks pretty good right there. So now I'll just give him a little squish him to the back. Like that. So now you got all of this stuff. So let's go ahead and put our little circle on. Oops, crazy, get back over there. Okay, so your little circle too, you might want to, like I can see right here, mine has a couple of extra little pieces on there, so you might want to brush your finger over the top of it and loosen those up, because it might have a couple of little straggly little pieces of from the die cut when I cut it out. Okay, and then we're going to put this right over the circle. And then you're going to have your happy holidays that you can stick on. And this is a Sizzix die, and I'll list that down in the description box in case you'd like to pick it up. It comes with a bunch of little happy holiday sayings. And again, you may want to brush it off if there's any stray little pieces. Like I can see there's a stray little piece right here already. I should have brushed it first. It never fails. When you cut these out, they still have like little extra little bits sometimes. So make sure to be careful and brush those off. And also, I didn't go to the trouble of punching out all these little things in your kit, the little in-between letters, so you may have to do that. Unless they just fell out, you didn't get none. I did not brush those out. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put some glue on this. Or you could also, if you have a Xyron, you could run this through your Xyron and then put it on. Okay, let's go like this. Hold it down a second. Got a few little strays there. And then I decided after I got all done, I'm like, oh, it's gonna need it. Even though there's a bunch of snowflakes out here in the back, I decided that it needed some more snowflakes. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these on the back. My alarm was going off. I'm like, why's my alarm going off? That's the Pick Lexi off the bus alarm, but she had half a day today, so she is already at home hanging out with Dad. Alright, we'll go ahead and put one down here, and then we'll put one up here, and then this one I kind of looped it over the side of this little window, so I kind of stuck it on here, so kind of lean over the side of my window right here. And you might have to hold it down a minute. You can also take some stickles or some glitter and glitter these snowflakes so that they are glittered up before you put them on there. But let me blow it off. It's got a bunch of stuff on it now. But there we have it. There's our little peekaboo card. So when you open him, he goes whoosh, and you have another thing. And there's plenty of space right here for you to stamp, either write something in here, or you could stamp another greeting in there. You could also take and make each of these dogs, if you have some Christmas stamps, you could do a Christmas sentiment so that it opens up and you see one Christmas sentiment and then it pops open in another one. And then you could use some of these other stamps that are in your kit. So maybe you had a little saying right here, and you could have this little mouse with the little tree going right along on the front of your card. You could color him and then cut him out and then stick him on there. Or you could do inside here, you could have a cinnamon in here, and then you could put one of the little images in here. So he could be kind of like leaning over the side, so you got part of him not on there. I think that would be really cute. Or this little mouse is actually going to fit right here in between the space of the little circles perfectly. So you could put him in there and have the little saying, or you could have this little bird flying in here and the little mouse right here on the side. That would be cute. So just some ideas there, because these are pretty big and they didn't come with sentiments. That was one thing after I got it. I'm like, oh, there's no sentiments. But, you know, if you're like me, you have a few Christmas sentiments hanging around, so maybe you could dig through your stash and change it up however you wanted to. But anyway, you get everything that you need to make the 3 little peekaboo cards in your kit. So you can just change them up any way you would like. So anyway, I hope you had fun coloring today and putting our peekaboo card together. If you have a question, leave me a comment down below and I'll make sure to get back to you. Don't forget to hit the like button or the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit the little bell next to it so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. So I hope you're having a fabulous day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.